Thanks for joining us here today, and we're going to be doing a podcast on, talking about esports, talking about different things going on, and before I even get into it, what inspired the creation of this esports program that you're doing now?
So, we started Claim to Fame 10 years ago, and we were just an event service. And similar to like a DJ service, we really just kind of brought the entertainment to whatever venue we wanted to work at, whatever venue was looking for birthday parties. I have a nature in, sports, competitive sports. I grew up playing sports. I grew up playing video games. And then when the worlds collided with esports, it just became a natural progression in combining the gaming aspect but also the video game aspect. So just bringing esports to the capital region was one of our goals when we started this 10 years ago, and to have a facility where we can build out and create program for it really has shown where the progression has come from, just from doing the midnight releases at GameStop to now having a dedicated space for it.
So, I mean, honestly, so when you started in 2015, and what was like the gap? Like, what did you? I mean, so you answered some of that question, but really, what it was like in 2015 versus 2025, and the leaps and bounds, or the growth it's taken, or the need in the community.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with gaming was gaming changes so quickly. Technology changes so quickly, and having this type of equipment accessible to people it's hard. You have all these systems cost a lot of money, and kids want to access it, and they just don't have access to it. So one of our goals was to bring that feel to these kids, where they can come in and they can enjoy some of this equipment that's so expensive, and they can enjoy it together, and they can enjoy it with and now with an education purpose. So 10 years ago when we ventured into this, there was a lot of no's. There was a lot of, it's video games, it rots your brains. But now we've really changed that stigma, where there's the game development now. There's Albany is creating a program next year with game design. We really want to create that pipeline where the kids are playing these video games and they say, it's a lone thing. Now you can come out, you can do it with part of the community, but you can also go to school for it. You can learn about it. You can have, an education in it, and there's workforce for it. So,
you bring up a lot of interesting points, because I'll say this as a parent that, in not growing up about the gaming, but watching my kids play gaming. And, one of the biggest things I think parents look at this, like the way, how much time you're wasting gaming, you're playing the game, what are you doing? And I was saying earlier, like I was chuckling when, my brother-in-law, Kevin, he watched football and baseball all the time religiously, right? Mm-hmm. And his son watches people play gaming online. And I didn't even know like that was like a big thing. And then you start seeing it in movies and stuff, how you got all this gaming going around, like this area here, what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he said to his dad, he goes, well, it's like watching your football. You enjoy your football game. I enjoy watching gaming.
Exactly.
And the light bulb kind of went off in his head. And honestly, I was busting his chops, but I was like, wow, he's so right. It's like we need to look at this a different way. And I think you brought up good points, like Albany adding classes, what you can do in this in a partnership. And I do want to thank Christel Vecchio and MVP, our partnership with the arena, to give the opportunity to put $15,000 on the table to help kids. And I think you've seen this too here in your industry, that kids either get a computer or they get home and they don't have the high-speed internet, so they're lagging.
Yes.
They get kicked off, because I hear this all the time with my kids' friends. They get kicked off, or it's just, you're so far behind, you can't be competitive.
Yeah.
So there's so many disadvantages for people with bad internet, don't have internet capability. But then, you brought up another interesting point, like when things cost to fix, right? What's, and I don't want to scare the listeners, the reason not to do this, but this is why this partnership's so important with Albany County and MVP and in your organization here, to make it accessible. And if, they break something, it's there for you to fix. But what do you roughly run into?
Yeah. The biggest thing is, when people come in, they get the wow factor. They see all these PCs and they're like, wow, what is this? And it looks like a computer lab. You walk in and you see 24 gaming PCs and you wonder, what's going on here? And, you have the different generations of parents are like, oh, my son has this in his house. And we kind of translate to, this is basically a souped up version of that, like where they can have access to these professional headsets and, the professional keyboard and mouse and really just take it to the next level, kind of give them that esports feel. But we also want them to understand that, gaming is part of what we do. And a lot of it, and like you said, is programming. The industry of gaming is much more than the competitive. There's the broadcasting, there's the marketing, there's, event management. And so we really want to encompass that and teach kids that come in here and that are going to be part of the program. Yes, they're going to play video games and they're going to enjoy the video games, but they're going to learn these skills that may spark something where they're like, oh, I want to do that. Or, I want to produce a podcast. I want to broadcast. I want to, event market. I want to be, these influencers. Everyone wants to be a pro YouTuber, like you said. And we want to teach those skills that can translate to other industries. And I think the gaming industry and how tech is, this day and age has really transformed, the skills you need, Zoom, Microsoft Teams. These things are going to be taught on a base level now. And we want to be on the forefront of that. So when there is an employment opportunity that they say, oh, I learned that and I want to go to school for that. And, oh, this is something cool. I can make the next Fortnite or the next Call of Duty. It's not just playing in it. So that's really what our goal is, to like spark that innovation in the kid and see that they have the opportunity to create something out of this.
No, I think it's awesome what you said. You pretty much answer a lot of the questions. Like, what are the opportunities for kids? And it's really educating parents too, or the guardians are like, hey, they're just not playing a game. Now, you're right. Some degree, some kids are, but there's also healthy games on there too, meaning like, one of the things people are like, well, how does the MVP in Albany County do this? Well, you got different games you can go on there and learn how to stretch, do yoga, do different health things, get up, walk around. So it's not, I just want to let parents understand this, and hopefully they're listening to this. It's just not about gaming. It's about a community, and it's a whole new generation of kids growing up that now are sitting there going, hey, this is our thing. This is our way to do things, to communicate, to talk. And we were saying earlier, how many people have become? I'll use your two kids that are on, right? They're on, and honestly, we won the soccer because of that.
Nice.
But how many people have they met from around the United States, let alone the world?
Right. Yeah, I think, the biggest thing is, and it's funny you bring up my kids, they all play sports, and that's how you meet kids when you grow up. You're part of the program. They love the Albany County programs with, baseball, and they do that. And, and I'm glad that we can introduce esports to that. But, these are how kids meet each other. And, the traditional way was sports, and you travel with them, and then they all meet up in middle school, and they're like, hey, I know you from baseball. And then, but now it's really transformed. It's like, hey, let's play this game together. And, the baseball team will play this game together. And I'm like, hey, who are you talking to? And, he's like, oh, I'm talking to, my friend from baseball. We're playing this game together. He hasn't seen him since baseball season, and it's really like a new way to, communicate with your friends. When I was growing up, we had, the messengers and the, AOL, the dial-up internet. And now it's like, at your hand. And the biggest thing for us is not only do we want to teach kids about like the safety of online, but we also want to teach the parents about, screen management and, different things that are going to...
Well, here's a point I like to make as a parent in watching this when it was early developing. They really, I'll say, like a lot of the video gaming did not have control of what was being said online, right? And I like you to talk a little bit about that, because as a parent, I was very disturbed at some of the stuff.
Yes.
Look, there's bad actors in everything you do.
Sure.
And there's going to be people out there online, and I think they've done such a much better job. But I think you can explain that better than I can. being in this industry, the safety net. Because a lot of parents I talk to, that's one of the things they have an issue with. They're like, hey, I don't want my kids being exposed to people, or, the foul language, or whatever it may be. And I think that's something we need to address.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that we are going to teach in this, program is, we're going to teach kids about online bullying, and, what you say sticks out there, social media, things you put on social media are there forever. People look at that stuff. And, we're going to teach parents about settings, about, chat restrictions, and, you can only play with your friends, and there's authentication where, hey, I want to add this person. You go through the steps of, well, do you know this person? Do you, and just similar to like anything like a kid messenger or something, there's an authentication like, hey, I know this parent, and then they can connect. So, a lot of parents think, oh, who are they talking to? They're online. You can control that. And we're going to teach kids that. And we're also going to teach the parents, hey, listen, if there's things and questions that you have and you feel like it gets out of control, we have healthy ways of dealing with, screen time, online bullying, the social media part of it. And that's, the biggest component of, bringing awareness to just the mental health of kids too. So
no, I agree with you, and that's so important. And then there's a new app you can get, which it's funny because I don't play as much as I used to, but I try to get online every now and then. It's hard to find the time, but I play with my military guys, and I still play with my son's friends. I still think they like to get their stats up. But it's funny. We go to our phones now, and there's a whole thing you can download, and you can do it over the computer too, where you're just letting your select group in. It's a coding system. I forget what it's called, but they had to walk me through it 8 times to figure it out. And it's pretty neat. It's just, you can talk amongst your group. You can, mute people out. Definitely. And parents do need to take that time, and then shows you and which I love about it, it shows you the hours played and how long you've been playing. So you can sit there and say, okay, maybe we got to monitor this a little bit. But with all that new technology, things constantly changing, and the games being out there, like you were just saying, you can build a farming community, you can do stuff. It really interacts kids to think on a different level. As they're playing a game, they're actually creating a community. As we're getting to the end here, but I do want to say, the opportunities we talked about to explore for youth with college and kids going on, but how do you ensure a positive and inclusive environment for all the players?
One of the, and I touched on this a little bit, is online bullying is such a big thing on the online community, because you're not face to face with somebody, and when you don't see someone's reaction to what you say to them, it really takes that emotion away. And we really want to emphasize that when you talk or communicate a certain way, that has a lasting impression. And so we hope that this program can teach not just about like the fun stuff about gaming and the careers in gaming, but also skills that they can translate into, a career or going to school. And, a lot of these colleges, and jobs, they look for, a good brand fit or a good fit for your company. And they go through these different things. So, I think that's the biggest thing for us, is we really want, the gaming kind of hooks them in, it's like the lure on the fishing.
Which I love. And we could go on forever about this. And I do want to think it's a unique opportunity, but how can you register for this program? Where are we located, and how can they get to your website? So people who are listening to this have an opportunity to say, hey, I got a safe place to bring my kids to play, and, adults too.
We have the rec website,
www.albanycounty.rec-desk.com, and you can go register. And again, it's going to be limited, but if this takes off, we're going to add more to this. I do want to thank our partnership with MVP, Chris Del Vecchio and his team and the board, and especially to you and your family that are here today and watching this grow. As county executive for the last 10 years, watching where you started and where you're at. Listen, this is a great opportunity for parents. And if you want to take an opportunity and you don't understand it, please come down to the shop. It's right here in Manans, and come here, talk to them. They'll walk you through it. They'll show you how to do the settings, because I know there's a lot of parents out there, guardians like me, that didn't understand all that, and the kids can go around you, and they'll walk you through it, and they'll show you what you need to do to give a better, safer environment, gaming opportunities for your children. So come on down.
Also, I just want to thank you and MVP. Amazing partnership. I think you guys have been a pioneer. Albany County has been a pioneer in esports. Really ground level stuff that really has transformed. This day. It really is really going to change the narrative on gaming. We're located at 100 Broadway in Manans. Just come on down. We can give you a tour, and we can talk about the programming. And when everything goes live, I know already people have been telling me I'm going to sign up. Yeah. So there might be a wait list. So it's going to be first come, first serve. But hopefully we can grow this program, and we can continue this and spread the information.
Thank you again for this opportunity, and look forward to exploring more opportunities with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.